Attack on
Yes,
Titan,
sir.
my very first anime, the greatest piece of fiction to have ever graced the earth, and the show that single-handedly changed the course of my entire life. Man, Attack on Titan will always have a special place in my heart, because if that one weird but low-key chill kid in my high school didn't tell me to watch this show on Netflix, then I don't think Senshiig would have even existed today. Experiencing Attack on Titan with no prior anime knowledge, spoiler-free, is just something out of this world. The plot twist after plot twist after plot twist had me questioning my own IQ. Like, come on, I can't be the only one who was left flabbergasted and discombobulated with each episode. You know the foreshadowing is good when people on Twitter are starting to pretend that they knew all along. I've rewatched this show so many times, I was practically right there with the matter of fact, that's actually me right there. So you already know what time it is. Let's cut the yapping and get straight into the meat and potatoes. The first episode starts off and we see this squadron on horseback riding through the forest wearing these tough capes. They seem to be approaching that giant from Clash Royale when they use these items that let them fly through the air like jetpack joyride. After getting a better look at bro, is that a butt naked kingpin? Anyways, they pull out their swords and try to give him a British greeting when they cut over to our main characters Erin and Mikasa chilling in a field. Quick little lore drop. In the Attack on Titan world, humans are no longer at the top of the food chain and have been damn near driven to extinction by these 9'10", 800-pound One Piece characters that only eat humans. Seeing as they had no means to defend themselves, they retreated behind these walls where they have been living pretty peacefully for the past 100 years. Erin and Mikasa were out collecting sticks, and that's when they run into Mr. Harness, who's part of the military, which is split into 3 sections. The Garrison Regiment, who's in charge of defending the walls, the Scout Regiment, who venture outside the walls to fight the Titans and to conduct research, and then the Military Police, who are basically a more corrupt version of New York's NYPD. Harness is a part of the Garrison Regiment, but seeing as there has been no issues for 100 years, these guys have basically become bums that get paid to be unemployed. If I had to get a job, this honestly doesn't even sound bad. Eren starts shouting like Prime Arster, basically calling bro out for not taking his job seriously. Fast forward and we find out that Eren wants to join the Scout Regiment because he no longer wants to live as livestock and wants to experience true freedom. That's when the bells of awakening starts going off, signaling that the scouts have just returned from their last voyage. And these guys look defeated. Broski in the back looks like he went through Itachi's Tsukuyomi. This is how me and my homies would walk out the exam hall after not studying for our finals. An old lady pulls up asking whether her son made it back alive, and they just pull out his arm, handing it to her like it's a piece of Johnny Test meatloaf. What made you think this was a good idea? You could have just said he went missing in action. You did not need to bring back 1/17th of his body. And then to make it worse, she breaks down into tears, asking whether her son's death meant something, and this smooth-brained Neanderthal couldn't even be bothered to lie. Bro straight up tells her that his death didn't mean nothing. They gained no XP, no souls, no elixir. We got over to Eren and Mikasa making it back home, and that's where we meet their parents, Grisha and Carla Yeager. And let me tell you something about Carla Yeager. When you lay your eyes on some good milk like this, you all of a sudden realize that Dr. Umar isn't even a real doctor. Mikasa snitches on Eren, telling their parents that he wants to join the scouts, and not gonna lie, Carla's reaction is pretty fair. Joining the scouts is even worse than being a demon slayer. Hell, I think I'd rather join Tokyo Ghoul's CCG before I become a scout. At least I get like a cool quinke. Grisha seems to be a lot calmer and tells Eren that if he behaves, he'll take him to his cellar in Shiganshina to show him what he's been working on. That's when we flip over to a young Kurapika getting jumped when Eren comes to intervene, but it's only when they realize that Mikasa is Naruto running behind him that they skedaddle out of there. Eren and Mikasa are chilling as they fantasize about freedom and what may lie beyond the walls. PS5s, air fryers, AirPods, ChatGPT, TikTok. I'd be trying to escape too. But on a real, Armin and Eren's ability to have such like a visionary worldview at the age of like 10 years old is genuinely fascinating. Armin continues to spit bars when he says that it's truly sad how people are willing to settle for a life of mediocrity in exchange for a fleeting sense of security. But that's when it seems like a lightning strike had hit outside the walls when damn, a 60+ meter titan looking like Solominati spawned in out of nowhere, clocks his foot back and says, "Orewara, striker," before knuckleballing the wall like prime Cristiano Ronaldo. The wall that has stood firm for more than 100 years has been breached as the Titans walk through. Eren, Armin and Mikasa realize they got a dip, but Eren realizes that his house is in that direction and his mother is home alone. They sprint back as we see pure despair all around us. They turn the corner and Carla has been crushed. In a last ditch effort, they try to lift the house, but it's too late. The Titans are already closing in, smiling ear to ear like prime Sukuna. But hope's not lost. Harness is here. Bro comes in, backs out the blade, and I thought he was about to cook, just for him to come face to face with these soldiers of Shaitan and realize that he ain't built for this. Harness said he's an affiliate of the Joseph Joestar Academy and hits the Nigerunda yo. Eren is still facing his mother, screaming in pure agony as she gets grabbed by a Titan and eaten alive as if she was like a Costco glizzy. This is foul. A 10-year-old boy witnessing this is diabolical. When I first watched this, I thought anime was childish and just for kids, but being traumatized in the first episode was enough to alter my entire brain chemistry. This might be the best first episode in anime. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. The Titans have now made it deep into the town, and this preacher boy who's part of a religion who idolizes and prays to the walls is reciting verses from their holy book whilst walking towards the Titans just to get turned into a corn dog. Damn! This must be how Broski and Sinners felt when he started reading Bible verses and the vampires started saying it with him. They further continue to explain that the wall that broke was an outside wall in Shiganshina, meaning that the main wall is still technically intact. Yeah, this swole titan looking like Drago from Rocky, looking like Zane from Ninjago, steps up, assumes perfect sprinting form like Ashton Hall, eats the cannon fire, and body checks a hole through the wall before posing for the flick. I know he posted this one on the gram talking about could have been on the field as a linebacker but duty called. We get this weird interlude compilation of Grisha giving Erin that compound V, which seemed like a dream until Erin wakes up with his dad's key around his neck. Erin's head is hot. He is talking all spicy, saying he wants to kill all the titans the same way Trunks was talking about the androids. And hold up, I know the name who I think it is. If that's actually him, then we might have to accept that Isayama is the greatest writer of all time, right up there with Oda and Stan Lee. We get a small time skip and they send all the refugees to reclaim War Maria, which included Armin's father. It's safe to say they all got turned into corned beef, and it was basically just a population control scheme, because how are you gonna send 250,000 people to war and only 200 come back? Who was leading the operation? Frieza? That's when we end up jumping 5 years into the future and see that Armin, Mikasa, and Erin are now enlisted into the cadets. Their instructor Keith Shardis, aka David Goggins, is going around cussing them out, basically trying to intimidate them. It's also where we meet some of the other cast members like Igagori and Sasha. It's also where the iconic potato scene came from. Everyone always talks about how Sasha didn't split the potato 50-50, but I find it 10 times funnier how Andrew Tate over here is genuinely trying to get like a better understanding of Sasha's thought process. We cut over to the gang chilling in the cabins when everyone is asking Erin about what the Colossal Titan looked like, the same way people would hold like post-game interviews with that one guy who saw the school fight. Erin starts talking spicy again, telling everyone he's gonna take down the Titans, but this frat boy over here wasn't trying to hear all that, and that's where the Erin and John rivalry begun. I keep forgetting that John was mad in love with Mikasa, just for Mikasa to be attached to Erin like Juvia and Grey from Fairy Tail, and I can't really blame John. A young Senshiig was hypnotized when I first watched this. I barely recovered from the 2000s Cartoon Network goth baddie epidemic, and then they throw in an Asian goth baddie. I was set up for failure from the start. Oh yeah, I also noticed that John complimented Mikasa's hair, just for this D1 hater, Defensive Player of the Year Erin, to tell her to cut it off in the next scene, and she actually does it. They go through some tests to see how good people are with the ODM gear, and it's safe to say Erin is hot garbage. Mikasa and a couple of the others are actually quite naturally gifted, and hold up, is his head steaming? We also meet two new homies, Reiner and Beerus. Fast forward and it's time for the final ODM gear evaluation, and Erin is still hot dookie juice, but it actually turns out his gear was defective, so it seems like he was quite naturally talented too. They continue their cadet training for 2 more years, going through the usual army type training mixed with Titan fighting simulations. They also do some hand-to-hand combat training where we get a pretty solid idea of the power rankings. Erin flipped Reiner like a sack of basmati rice, had his legs in the air and everything, but that's when Arnie wants to get in on the action, and the moment she put her guard up, my Aura Scouter would have gone off straight away. Couple that with the look of absolute despair and misery she has on her face, there is no way I'm bringing the ones with this Russian tomboy. Her dad probably had a wrestling grizzlies at the age of 11 like Khabib. Erin thinks it's easy picking, so goes in for the attack just to get leg kicked, dismantled, straight into the chin grab, followed by the reverse sweep. Damn! Had Erin looking like MJ in No Way Home. And then to make it worse, Reiner tries to back his brethren just to get off screen and end up on the floor, butt cheeks spread wide open for the whole world to see. I'm convinced Arnie went to Dagestan 2-3 years and forget. We officially cut over to the cadet graduation ceremony and get to see the top 10 ranking students, with Erin making it into the top 5 and Mikasa obviously being first. It's almost time for them to make the decision on which regiment they are going to join, and after Erin's heartfelt speech, a lot of the cadets have changed their mind and also want to join the scouts. We get a few wholesome moments like seeing these two NPCs couple up, a reunion with Harness who apologizes for what happened 5 years ago, and everyone in the gang just bonding over Sasha's stupidity. It's honestly looking pretty hopeful. It really seems like they are actually like starting to make some type of progress. Yeah, nah, he wasn't fooling. This is Attack on Titan. No such thing as a happy moment. The Colossal Titan spawns in again out of nowhere, putting yet another hole in the wall. Everyone is terrified, but Eren wasted no time getting ready to spin back, with nothing but determination in his eyes. Eren is like 5'5", about to square off with Beefcake from One Punch Man. The Colossal Titan swings his arm, but Eren dodges it with his ODM gear and runs up his arm, going straight for the nape of his neck. But the Colossal Titan uses a horse substitution jutsu and just disappears. This would have had me perplexed. What do you mean a 60-meter behemoth just vanished right in front of my eyes? Who's he feeling like? Terrence from Angry Birds? On a side note, the action shots in Attack on Titan are second to none. I can't be the only one that wishes he could at least fly through the air using ODM gear. It gives me a similar vibe to Spider-Man's web slinging. The Titans have started to make it into the city and everyone has been stationed to take them down. But before we get into that action, we get yet another lore drop. Titans don't talk, they don't have reproductive organs, and they can regenerate unless struck in the nape. They only eat humans, nothing else, and to make it worse, these Titans don't even need the humans to survive. That's right, Titans eat humans for the love of the game. At least other demon concepts like in Promised Neverland need to eat humans to survive, but these giant labubus eat humans simply just to kill them. We cut back to the gang and they are talking a big game, saying whoever kills the most Titans gets bragging rights. This is really how Gen Z is going to act if we actually get drafted for World War III. They roll out with this magnificent sequence of animation, making me think they are all about to cook, just for Brody to get snatched out the air like a common housefly not even 10 seconds later. Eren goes into the classic shonen protagonist rage mode, and this is where we would usually see your classic power of friendship Zenkai boost. But nah, our main character just straight up gets his leg chomped clean off, followed by this guy getting turned into red mist, ending off with the girl getting stared down by a Titan the same way someone will stare at you after taking your ankles in basketball. Armin is the last man standing, and this entire city is looking like the depths of Hades. He gets approached by a Titan, and then is that the guy from Happy Wheels? Armin seemingly gets eaten, but Eren finally starts acting like a main character, grabbing Armin out of the Titan's mouth whilst holding it open. I was really starting to get hyped, thinking he's about to awaken his 9 tails hidden chakra, just for bro to get eaten. And like I said earlier, this was my first anime experience. I was not familiar with the Japanese game. In my head, I thought that was it. I had already cast Eren aside, and I remember thinking like that this is one of them shows where the main character just changes after every couple of episodes, kinda like Juni Taisen or maybe even 2B Hero X. Armin is going through all 5 stages of grief when we cut over to the couple from earlier. The man is currently knocked and she's trying to administer CPR, but the camera zooms out and Buddy over here got hit with the Gojo Deluxe. Attack on Titan does such a great job at portraying the themes of war and sorrow. We cut over to Mikasa, who's taking down some corrupt government politicians when they decide to show us her backstory. Mikasa isn't actually related to Eren. Eren and his pops go to visit her parents to do a doctor's checkup, but when they open the door, their reboot cards have already expired and Mikasa has been kidnapped. Mind you, Eren can't have been older than 5 years old, and he had no reaction to seeing the dead bodies. He might be a psychopath on the same level as Gon Freaks. Anyhow, Grisha tries to go and find help, but Eren has nothing but murder on his mind. He ends up finding the kidnappers and pretends to be a lost kid, just so that he can hit them with a London classic. And bro just stands there, looking like Kid Buu. After realizing his homie got slammed out by a kindergartner, the boss tries to chase after Eren, just to get caught lacking too. Roadman in the UK will chase you with these types of homemade contraptions and still ask you, why are you running, bruv? Eren frees Mikasa, but he didn't realize there was still another enemy combatant remaining. He urges Mikasa to pick up the knife, telling her to fight, kill or be killed, and this might be top 5 lock-ins in the history of anime lock-ins. She releases her nen and Flash steps in like Sadako, off-screening the third guy. These kidnappers really went outside, dropped off by a bunch of kids who probably went home to watch Cocomelon. Eren gives Mikasa his scarf and Grisha officially invites her to join the family. Returning to present day though, and this bum is fleeing the battlefield, abandoning the supply team unit, leaving everyone stranded with no fuel right as they receive the order to retreat. I'd be sick, this guy's underhated. Sasha and Connie try to give some last minute motivational speeches, but it's really raps. Mikasa regroups with the cadets, and that's when she finds out that Eren got eaten, and look at her face, I can sense the wrath. She proceeds to take control of the remaining cadets and delivers this amazing speech, basically calling them all bums. This is that Blue Lock egoist mentality.
I'm strong. Real strong. None of you come close. You hear me? I am a warrior. Know this. I have the power to slay all of the Titans that block our path. Even if I have to do it alone. As far as I'm concerned, I am surrounded by a bunch of unskilled, cowardly worms. You disappoint me. You can just sit here and twiddle your thumbs and watch how it's done.
And for anyone who's watching this right now, who maybe feels down or who maybe feels like they're somehow not enough, take Mikasa's resolve as the perfect example to always keep moving forward. Regardless of the pain or suffering you've gone through in life, life goes on and time keeps moving. You can either sit back and bed rot and scroll on TikTok for hours, or you can get up and try again, fighting until you're no longer able to. That's exactly what it means to be a human being, the tenacious tenacity to never yield when faced with adversity. It's been a while since I did some hopecore, but you know, on the real, this Mikasa scene of her leading the siege and motivating everyone around her to keep pushing gives me goosebumps every single time. Armin realizes that Mikasa is running out of gas, she falls down, and that's when this Man United fan tries to take her too. And after we just saw our main character get turned into Fufu, I thought it was raps, but this is Mikasa, she never gonna give up. But the odds are really against her because another Titan pulls up.
Better scramble like an egg before you get folded like an omelet, nigga.
Ooh, that brother's floating in the air.
Oma from Kengan Ashura comes in and clocks the fat Titan before curb stomping it to death. You know, on a side note though, bro is insanely lean. Like, what's your split, bro? You take creatine? I dabble a little bit in the gym myself, but this Titan gotta have like 0.3% body fat. When I was watching this episode, I thought this was some type of abnormal who just happened to hate his own people like Uncle Ruckus. But then I saw it square up like Ippo, followed by a check hook of doom and despair, knocked his head clean off. Mikasa is damn near getting turned on by this Titan, and Erwin realizes that they could probably use him to take on the other Titans. They plan on taking him to the refuel station in the hopes of recapturing it. They all make it to the refuel stations just to find out that the supports are doing a support strike like it's Marvel Rivals. I mean, I can't blame them, because if I clock into my 9 to 5, stare out the window and see this, I'm calling it a day too. I haven't even found out what the One Piece is yet. The entire headquarters is surrounded, but Armin's plan has worked because this Titan is reverse jumping the other ones like it's a game of gang beasts. This is really the type of squabbles I was having in bouncy castles against random kids back in the day. The gang refused their ODM gear, but the abnormal Titan has run out of stamina, so in a last stance, he stakes out the remaining Titans before falling down. And as it drops, out the nape of its neck, Eren Yeager respawns like a light skin stepping out the sauna. What? Only in hindsight was it obvious that it was Erin this whole time. I don't care what anyone says. My first time seeing this show, I was absolutely bewildered, gobsmacked, flabbergasted. If Attack on Titan was one of your first animes, let me know in the comments whether you saw this coming or whether I was just straight up slow for not realizing. To get a better understanding of how we ended up here, we gotta rewind to this afternoon. This is where they introduce us to the Scout Regiment's finest soldiers, and if I had to explain it, the Scout Regiment being out of town at both times the Colossal Titan and the Armor Titan showed up is the exact same as when Pain from Naruto attacked the Hidden Leaf village when Might Guy and Rock Lee just so happened to be on a mission, because in both scenarios, they damn well knew they would have got folded. Introducing Commander Erwin, aka Ego Jinpachi. He's the mastermind behind the Scout Regiment. Then we got Hanji, aka Sally from Black Clover, and then we have Captain Levi, also known as humanity's strongest soldier. You're probably wondering, how did he get such a tough nickname? This human Beyblade is one of the founding fathers of Aura farming. Up until now, the only person who was even remotely close to no diffing the Titans is Mikasa, but Levi is on a whole nother level, to the point that even the background NPCs are talking about him the same way people talk about Goku. Bro throws his sword into the Titan's eyes, starts getting sturdy on his head top, and then finishes it off with no difficulty. But wait a second, is he using a sword? That sounds like Mihawk upscale to me. After we find out about that demon, we cut back to Eren after he was eaten by Uncle Iroh. If I was trapped in there, I'd think I was in Jahannam, because this is enough to traumatize anyone. Eren starts tweaking, and that's when it happens. He transforms into a Titan, which brings us back to the present day. Eren has lost his memories, and Armin and Mikasa are protecting him from the remaining soldiers. And it's fair enough. If I'm fighting an intergalactic alien species and my bunkmate turns into one of them out of nowhere, I'd be skeptical too. Is that the same bump from earlier? This guy is tweaking out because he thinks Eren is the enemy and wants an explanation for what he's just seen. Eren tries to explain that he is human, but this man does not care and signals for cannon fire. But as the blast goes off, Eren enters into the flow state after seeing a memory of his father and uses his newfound Titan ability to stop the cannon fire. Eren pulls out and explains that he doesn't really know what's going on or how he's able to control a Titan, but he does know it has something to do with his dad selling Shiganshina. So if they can reach it, they might learn the secret about the Titans. So what they're basically saying is that Attack on Titan is actually a mecha anime. We evolve beyond the person we were a minute before. Alright, I'll stop, my bad. I just watched Gurren Lagann and I just had to fit in a reference somewhere. I mean, this is a great revelation and all, but let's not act like the military didn't just try to turn you guys into chum. Armin realizes that he has to convince the entire regiment that Erin is not a threat, otherwise they are cooked. So he steps out and delivers a speech straight from the soul. He's using pure logic, absolute elite debating skills, explaining that Erin's abilities are clearly an asset to humanity, and he has already proven that he's capable of taking out multiple titans, saving the lives of his fellow comrades. But arguing with this buffoon from Plants vs Zombies is like arguing with a power scaler. It doesn't matter what facts you bring to the table, they already have their agenda, and that's never going to change. He begins lifting his arm to signal another round of cannon fire, but that's when my GOAT, and easily one of the most underrated Attack on Titan characters, pulls up, Commander Pixis. This is Commander Erwin before we were familiar with Commander Erwin's game. He just has to hear Armin, Erin and Mikasa out, as Armin explains he wants to use Erin's Titan ability to plug the new hole made by the Colossal Titan, and after only hearing the base facts, this guy proceeds to say, bet, let's run it. I put all my eggs in one basket. I thought they'd like start setting up some sort of plan, you know, maybe regroup, regear, pop a couple of Estes flasks, but no, right here and right now, they are going to execute this plan. Never let this man into a casino. He's gonna be a worse version of Dana White. He fills in the rest of the people, and this is when Attack on Titan turns into Speech on Titan. Every couple episodes, someone drops a speech more peak than the one before. He explains to everyone that Eren will use his Titan form to patch up the hole using the giant boulder, and of course people start dipping out immediately. What do you mean I'm about to risk my life for a freshman? But that's when Pixis begins using Hall of Fame level gaslighting. He basically tells them, hey, anyone who wants to leave is free to do so and won't face any repercussions. Just make sure you enjoy those last couple of moments with your friends and family though, because if the Titans break through there, where do you think they're gonna end up next? And everyone ends up returning. I gotta respect it. Pixis really gaslit like 200 people into dying. This is elite propaganda. I would have 100% fallen for this. They start mission plug the hole, and hey yo, who is this? Hold up, why don't I remember her? Eren flies in swinging from building to building. Before transforming into his Titan form, he stands face to face with the rock, but turns around and goes to squash Mikasa. After all that talk, this fool done lost control. Mikasa tries to talk to him, they signal the red smoke, but Commander Pixis could not care less. He says he won't retreat unless the guy signals the retreat, and he made the right decision putting him in charge, because he stands 10 toes down riding with Mikasa. They continue to defend Eren until he regains his consciousness, and that's when Armin pulls up and delivers the type of speech you'll hear at 3 AM in the morning after going on a 12-game losing streak with your homies. Listen Eren, don't believe in yourself, believe in me. Believe in the army who believes in you. And that's when Eren lifts the boulder, going beyond his limits, setting his heart ablaze.
Get it, 17. They don't know me, son. Get it, 18. They don't know me, son. Get it, 19. They don't know me, son. Yeah, 20. You got some more, son. 21. Yeah, get it again.
Everyone sacrifices themselves whilst protecting Eren as he closes the wall, giving humanity its first W. Absolute cinema. This still gets me hyped to this day. Commander Pixis really bet all his chips on black and won. They now need to make sure Eren comes back alive when the human Beyblade makes it back to the village right on time. This show is so damn peak. But you know, sacrifices are necessary. You can't gain anything without losing something first, as there are 207 casualties and 897 injured. And to make it worse, when doing the cleanup, our GOAT Marco ended up getting off-screened. Yeah, not to sound insensitive, but I really did not feel a thing for Bro Chacho over here. I don't know, there just wasn't enough attachment built up for me to really care like that. I felt worse for Jean's reaction to it, if anything. We also see Reiner, Bartolomeo and Arnie's reaction, and I always wondered who Arnie is apologizing to and grieving over. Like, I'm genuinely confused, because I swear it wasn't even shown that she had anyone she was particularly close with. Eren wakes up in a jail cell being greeted by Commander Erwin and Captain Levi. They interrogate him and ask him what his goals and intentions are. That's when Eren makes it clear that he wants to join the Sky Regiment and destroy the Titans, so Levi takes full accountability of him. But of course, there is still corruption in the verse, so they still need to convince the military police and the high-ranking politicians that Eren is not a threat to them, because right now they are treating Eren the same way people treat mutants in Marvel. They hold a trial, and to make a long story short, the military police wants to execute Eren, and the scouts want to take him in and use his powers. The garrison is also vouching for Eren's usefulness, so now it's up to the judge to decide. As it's starting to seem like the scouts are losing the trial, Eren starts tweaking out after they suggest that Mikasa might also be a Titan, but that's when Levi steps in and begins straight up beating the brakes off Eren. And to be honest, I can't really take the scene seriously anymore because of how much has been memed. He proceeds to tell the people that Eren took down 20 Titans in his Titan form form before getting taken out, but Levi is still confident that he could easily take out Eren, and that seemingly was enough to convince them. Eren is now officially a scout, and we get to meet the rest of the iconic Levi squad. Petra, 10 kills, 48 assists. Orua, 39 kills, 9 assists. Jin, 14 kills, 32 assists. Now, if I knew they was counting kills and assists like his Marvel rivals, I'd be stat padding against them 4-meter titans for sure. We get a couple wholesome moments where the team is bonding and Levi is cleaning. You'd never guess this 4'11" little cutie patootie was a titan slaying machine. Despite the way he acts, he clearly cares a lot about his peoples. Hanji finally gets to meet Eren one-to-one, and they go over a whole bunch of titan lore, and she explains in details about her titan experience on the titans that they captured on their last mission. But as they wake up the next day, the titans they were experimenting on got slaughtered by someone using ODM gear. It's also where we get the iconic Commander Erwin scene where he asks Eren, who do you think the real enemy is? And from then on, I knew Commander Erwin's IQ was off the charts. They conduct an ODM gear check to see if anyone recently used their gear, but after everyone turned up clean, we cut over to the Attack on Titan draft where everyone decides which regiment they are going to join. Erwin gives his speech in an effort to increase the numbers of recruits, but I'm not gonna cap, this speech had the opposite effect, although I felt like he kinda did that on purpose. In the end, like 20 people remained standing, including the majority of the OG gang who now got to join Eren on the scouts as they embark on their first mission. They ride out and they are following Commander Erwin's special scouting formation, and notice how everyone is in a group of 2 or more people, and then they just pan to Mikasa, who's literally on her own. They're really treating her as like a one-man army. This strategy allows them to spot and act accordingly to minimize the risks of running into any titans. But of course, the abnormal titans act abnormal, so when they see one of them, they have to fire a black smoke signal, and hey yo, they really got a zesty titan. I mean, he kinda hitting that though. But that's when another abnormal titan seems to be pulling up, but this one is different. She's built like Diane from 7 Deadly Sins, double cheeked up. On a Thursday afternoon, the sun is still out, my nigga, like damn. And on top of that, she seems to have intelligence similar to Eren, the Armored, and the Colossal Titan. The female Titan is moving like a seasoned assassin, destroying everything in her path. She begins chasing down Armin, but instead of killing bro, she takes off his hood, cracks a smile before dipping out. This would give me nightmares for decades. We got a 16'9" snow bunny, built like Queen America and sprinting like Shikari Richardson. It's raps. And then Reiner says what we're all thinking.
Nice ass for an abnormal, you gotta admit.
Reiner, Jean, and Armin try to chase down the female Titan in an attempt to take her down. Jean goes for the Achilles, but she straight up uses airbending and then proceeds to swat Armin's horse out of the arena for a home run. Jean tries to go in, but this Titan straight up protects her neck to prevent critical blows. Jean was about to get turned into okra soup when Armin starts gaslighting her, saying that Eren is already dead, meaning that her real target is Eren. Reiner uses the distraction to go for the attack, but they are like mosquitoes to her, cause I for real thought she popped him like a ketchup packet, but luckily he managed to make it out, which let Reiner escape with Armin. But Armin quickly realizes that she has changed the course directly towards Eren. She continues to make headway whilst brutally, viciously violating the remaining scouts. Look! Bro is getting swung around like a damn yo-yo before she pulls out a Kaiser impact, sending this brother flying through the air like Team Rocket. This gotta be top 3 worst ways to die. The rest of the squadron enters this forest, whilst they make the remaining people spawn cap the entrance to prevent any titans from entering. This outing was supposed to be a basic reconnaissance mission, but it stayed so far off course that genuinely no one has any idea of what Commander Erwin is thinking. They continue to advance through the forest. Nah bruh. A Euro step into a left jab is diabolical. The female Titan is right on top of Eren, but the Levi squad is ready to take action, but Levi has full faith in Commander Erwin's plan. The female Titan continues to chase while swatting soldiers like this one game I used to play on my iPad. Eren is getting more and more frustrated as people are dying on his behalf, so he says F it and is about to transform into a Titan when we get a flashback of Eren doing his Titan transformation training whilst bonding and getting some wholesome moments with the gang. It's clear that they trust each other, so Eren decides to listen to them and not transform into a Titan. The female Titan starts locking in like Frozone, and just when it looks like she was about to catch up, this man Erwin shouts fire and Swiss cheeses the female Titan, putting it down with hundreds of harpoon guns. Erwin Smith is truly a genius. He's evil, don't get me wrong, but he's a genius nevertheless. Look at the way they are looking at the female Titan, nothing but bad intentions. They try to cut her out the nape, but that's when we find out that the female Titan has some type of armament hockey. They prepare cannon fire so they can try to blow her hands up when Levi stands on her head top talking spicy.
You ain't never gonna be shit. Your mama wasn't shit.
Your daddy wasn't shit. You think you gonna be some shit?
You know how raw you have to be as a 4'7" human being to make a 19-foot titan quiver in fear. The female titan breathes in and lets out a Jurassic Park level scream, which alerts a bunch of Jason the Ween titans to come towards her and cannibalize her. She would really prefer to rage quit than to get captured by humans. Erwin gives the command to retreat, and we get yet another wholesome moment between Erin and the Levi squad as we find out that Petra and the Levi wannabe actually peed themselves on their first mission. But remember, Attack on Titan is the show that will give you a 30-second wholesome scene. A hooded member in a Scout Regiment uniform pulls up beside them and speed blitzes Little Mac. That's when we cut to Erwin, who explains that it's likely the female titan ditched the titan body and used ODM gear to escape and can likely resummon her titan body similar to Erin. The female titan begins chasing the Levi squad again, and this is a certified classic move that I've been using since 2011. I call it the fake lag out. Whenever my homies start beating me in a 1v1 in any game, I'll leave halfway through and pretend I was lagged out just so that I can replay them. This is high level battle IQ right here. Erin wants to transform, but again gets convinced by the Levi squad to trust them. And you know, at first, they are kinda cooking. They blind her and start farming her for chip damage until she finally drops her arms. They're going for the neck, but this is really how it feels when you and your homies run into the bell-bearing hunter in Elden Ring Night Rain, because the female titan heals her own eyes, bites Broski over here in half, turns Petra into a Picasso painting, and hits Aura with Isagi's direct shot. I know for a fact she watched Blue Lock. Eren, seeing that his senpais got smoked, goes into anime rage mode and starts hawking down the female titan. You're really getting a titan versus titan squabble. My mecha anime comparison from earlier is not even starting to sound crazy. Eren goes in for the uppercut, but the female titan uses iframes to dodge and counters with a Spartan kick to the chest. Eren recovers and sends her flying when he takes up the... Is that the Mashiba Hitman style? Eren is for sure tapped in with Hajime no Ippo. He goes in for the 5-piece chain attack, landing the final hit, but whilst this is going on, Levi is slowly making it towards the battle as he flies by his day ones, his compadres, his brethren, his shorty, all slimed out with expired reboot cards. Eren continues to try and land a hit on the female titan just before he mounts her and breaks both his hands in the process. Even the female titan is looking at him like,
this nigga is crazy.
She breaks free from the mount with a reverse leg lock, followed by a heel to the liver, sending Eren flying. Eren goes for the Francis Ngannou classic, throwing straight haymakers, hoping something connects. When the female titan lands a counter punch to the jaw, but this is Eren. Bro's like, it's a W, he loves the pain, and finally manages to land a clean uppercut, turning that one meme into reality. Eren goes for the knee, but they are both on low stamina. She's realized that Eren's moves are insanely telegraphed, so composes herself and hits Eren with the filthiest speed blitz I have seen since Luffy versus Rob Lucci. Eren couldn't even react and his head was lobbed clean off. The female titan goes to finish the job and captures Eren right in front of Mikasa. She proceeds to show us why she's only second to Captain Levi and manages to drop her and do more damage than the entire Levi squad combined. Levi finally pulls up and links up with Mikasa, and this might be one of my favorite team-ups in the show. I sure hope we get to see more of them working together. I mean, working together is a strong word because Levi uses his Beyblade breathing. Second form, Pegasus Slash, and turns the female titan's arm into Doner Kebab before poking out both her eyes. He follows up with a lightning level attack, moving like Zenitsu, completely overwhelming her. Mikasa tries to go in for the nape, but it was obvious log bait, which caused Levi having to step in and save her, but in the process he broke his ankle. They did manage to save Eren at least, but damn. This really made it clear how far ahead Levi is of everyone else. They had to nerf him, otherwise it wasn't going to be fair for the enemies. It's like how they had to seal Gojo in Jujutsu Kaisen so that they could actually advance the plot. We get one more look at the female titan, and she is straight up shedding tears like... This scene is frying me, it has so much meme potential. The scouts return and take the walk of shame back into the wars, and like I said, Erwin is a genius, don't get me wrong, but he is insanely evil. They really sacrifice hundreds of lives to not even return with the identity of the female titan. But what hit hardest for me was when Petra's father comes up to Levi and he starts rambling on about how she's in love with him and how she always wanted to marry Levi, and it's like just like a worried father, but he still hasn't realized that his daughter is dead. Dead as hell. Levi is such a tragic character, man. He got to be in the debate for top 5 worst lives in anime. We end up switching over to Arnie's POV, and my suspicions really started to take form right here. She was the only one who went to the military police, and to keep a long story short, the military police is just as corrupt as the Marines in One Piece. Arnie was chilling when Armin calls her to this alleyway. He says that him, Eren, and Mikasa are going to escape since the higher-ups want to punish Eren, since Erwin's promise at the last trial was to produce results on the next scouting mission. Armin Eren gaslights Arnie into accepting, so they walk to this underground shortcut when she refuses to go in. She's clocked on that they are suspicious of her, so Armin full court presses her, because it turns out when they were doing the checks to see who killed Hanji's titans, it turns out that Armin actually presented Marco's ODM gear, coupled with the fact that she didn't kill Armin in the field and looks like the female titan. It's safe to say we got him. Eren refuses to believe it, but Mikasa is ready to get active, and that's when Arnie gets turned on. She starts blushing and moaning at the mere thought of Armin having been able to figure out that she was the female titan and attempts to transform, but that's when all the townspeople bum rush her. But Arnie was really playing 5D chess this whole time, because the ring that she put on way earlier was actually something that would allow her to self-harm so that she could transform. And look at the people that bum rushed her. Bro looks like he's going through a Skylanders portal. Now, Eren just watched this petite Russian lady turn into Mount Lady with his own eyes. I'm talking about front row seats, and this smooth brain idiot still refuses to believe that it's her, which causes him to be unable to transform into his titan form. I have never seen selling of this caliber. Like this is like when Ace fell for a yo daddy rage bait joke during Marineford. I'm sick. Mikasa is rightfully upset, although some of that anger must be jealousy. She for sure felt some type of way with how much Eren is caring for Arnie right now. And look at the way Eren got laid out, man. Armin is in the field more than Eren right now. Even John is looking at him like,
This nigga is trash.
John Loki, one of the most realistic characters in the show. They hit Arnie with another one of them harpoon traps, but she shakes it off, freeing herself, and finally Eren decides to stop napping and locks in, clocking Arnie in the jaw. Eren is looking filled with rage, but to be fair, I don't think we've seen him have a normal titan fight yet. Eren is fighting in the city, and these Fugazi wool worshippers end up getting clapped in the process. Eren is hawking down Arnie, and they are low-key just wreaking pure havoc. This is the type of collateral damage the Avengers will do when stopping a bank robber. Arnie and Eren finally square up, and the fight choreography reminds me of like a high-level UFC battle. Arnie is the defensive high IQ counter puncher, maybe a bit like Israel Adesanya or Anderson Silva, and then Eren is the overly aggressive brawler type, maybe a bit like Francis Ngannou or Max Holloway. Arnie lands a devious leg kick, followed by a multitude of hammer fists to the skull. Those are illegal punches, ref, do something. Eren is still talking crazy before he turns into a Cabane from Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress and starts chasing Arnie down on all fours, mounting her and giving her flamboyant backshots. Eren is running off pure hatred right now, and Arnie realizes she's better off living to fight another day and tries to scale the wall, but Mikasa makes sure to get her get back, cutting off her fingers and then aura farming just like Captain Levi. Eren peels her open, and I thought this was it. Job well done. But Arnie, this petty soul loser, pulls out her Ethernet cable because she straight up freezes herself, making it so that she's essentially useless.
Dude, I'm watching the stream while you try not to laugh, bro. That's disrespectful, bro. What's wrong with you, bro? Stop laughing, bro. Look at you smiling, bro. You disrespectful as bro.
I mean, I don't know if you want to call this a win, a loss. I don't know how the politicians are going to take it. We'll call it a stalemate, I guess. They have one less enemy to worry about right now. But how many more are still among them? Find out next time on Senshiig. Man, I'm happy I got to talk about my favorite anime to you guys. The raw emotion I get whenever I watch this show is just sensational. It's truly one of one. Let me know in the comments if you actually managed to guess some of these plot twists in your first watch through, or whether you got completely sent like me. But hey, that's the end of the video. Appreciate you guys for sticking till the end. If you're still here, you gotta subscribe. Like, come on, bro. It just makes sense. You clearly enjoyed it. Like, I can see you smiling right now. I can see the smile on your face. Just subscribe and join the family. I'm also going to be returning to streaming, and I'm going to start posting some gaming content on the second channel. So make sure to tap in over there for more content. YouTube thinks you'll like this video on screen next, so why not give it a try? But yeah, that's it from me. Peace. Oh, and follow the IG.